Hello, welcome to the podcast. My name is Caitlin. If you're new, I sound a little stuffy today because I am. Yeah, I think I'm just dealing with a bit of sinus stuff. I don't know. What's new? Definitely might be a very mild cold or something. I'm not really sure. Whatever. Yeah. Words and things. I don't know. I've been dealing with a bit of a dilemma. I know I mentioned it briefly, kind of briefly, about there's this person that's kind of been flirting with me at work, and I don't know, I don't particularly care. I know I was kind of heated last time. I was just in a heated mood. It also was just why are people weird? Why do you have to be weird about it? I get, I do still, feel why. It's just, okay. People are weird. They say things that I'm like, why would you say that? But then again, I say things sometimes that are weird, and I'm like, why did I say that? So, try to cut people some slack. I know I was a bit heated in the last time I talked about this situation, but I just don't really know how to handle it. Do I address it? Do I just be like, hey, what's this? What's happening here? Because I don't really know if I should just yeah, I don't really know how I feel about it. Because part of me is whatever. Other part of me is is it weird? Should I say something? I feel like I don't care, but other people do, and I don't know, I'm not really used to caring what other people think. But I'm in a work environment where I'm around the same people all the time, and I'm like, well, maybe I should care if this looks weird to other people. I don't know. Because I'm not flirting back. So I don't think it'll look bad on me. But it's just should I say something? I feel like I only feel uncomfortable when other people say that I should feel uncomfortable. I mean, sometimes the bikini comment was weird. That was weird. But, the rest of it, I don't care. So I don't know. I told my manager, I'll deal with it. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. But, I don't need you to talk to him or anything. Because I don't really know how I want to handle it. So, yeah, that's just what was on my mind. And so, yeah, because he said something yesterday. He just walked in and was like, "Hey, pretty lady," and I was like, "Oh," and another member here came by and she was like, "Can I call you pretty lady?" And I was like, "Oh my god," because it's now other people are they're noticing, and I'm just I don't know. I don't really want that kind of attention, you know? So, I don't know. We'll see if this continues to be a thing. It's kind of amusing. It does make me laugh. And I'm pretty sure that's all it is. It's just an entertaining, casual work, flirty thing that he's trying to do. But he's just really weird about it, and so it's funny. To me, it's funny. I don't know if I should be more upset. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. Let's see, where are we today? Yeah, I am sniffly. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. I have this, like, they're like, supposed to be like a stink blocker kind of stick. It only works when the smell is not super strong, I'll be honest. But it has menthol in it, so I'm just like, it has shea butter, beeswax, menthol, and like lavender in one of them, and one of them is just menthol. And so basically, it's perfect for not only moisturizing my nose from blowing my nose, but also the menthol helps me to be able to breathe better. So it's like, it's great. Yeah. Gross. I hate being sniffly. Although I will say, I haven't gotten a sore throat yet. Knock on wood. I'm not superstitious. It's just I don't know, people do it. So that's good. That's probably my least, well, yeah, my least favorite thing about getting sick is like the raw throat. I don't want that. If I had that, I'd be at home right now. Like, no, I'm not working with that. But a little sniffle, I'll just blow my nose and use a lot of hand sanitizer and it'll be okay. Thankfully I don't get like really close to anybody. And if they get that close to me, that's kind of on them. You know, like, get out of my bubble. That's what you get. Yeah, I'm behind the desk. I don't get that close to anybody, so it should be fine. I don't share food anyways. Like, I wouldn't bite off something and have somebody else eat it, even like people that I'm close with, other than like my partner. My thought on that is, if our mouths touch, then we can share food. It's the same. I mean, saliva. It's the same thing, you know. So it's a logic. I don't know. But that's why I also hate, and especially like when I was a kid, I hated sharing food with people because I was like, it's basically like I'm kissing you. Why did people not know I was autistic? That's what I want to know. I wouldn't drink after anybody because I'm like, well, it's basically like I'm kissing you. Anyways, I'm so weird. But that's what makes me entertaining, I guess. Yeah. Probably not very entertaining on video, but in conversation, typically people find me interesting. Yeah. Anyways, on to what I've been learning in my class. I actually haven't done any like new studying at all this week because I just have been feeling so crappy. I've been trying to sleep in more. Today I could not sleep in. My partner woke up. I woke up a little bit just because I always do when they leave, and I couldn't go back to sleep. My brain was just on. Like, the ADHD part of me is alive and well because I just lay there having conversations in my head as if I was talking to someone else. You know, I just pick a random person. Sometimes it's not random, but I'll just like start talking, rehearsing conversations that'll never happen. And I used to do it way, way more. I think it maybe because I'm kind of sick, my brain is just like, I have no idea. I really have no idea. Yeah. Anyways, today's topic, I'll finally get into it. Today's topic is neurodiversity in education. Now, like I said, I was homeschooled all the way through high school, so I had accommodations in some ways, and in other ways I did not. This, I believe, is going to, be more focused on the traditional education. But, like, in college, it would have been helpful to have some accommodations. So, let me just pause this real quick, because I had to blow my nose. Sweet. I didn't know there was a pause button until now. I would have used that earlier, probably. Anyways, I am not a tech person at all. So, yeah. Unit 8, Neurodiversity in Education. Some of the barriers to proper education for neurodiverse individuals are lack of awareness, identifying needs. That is, I know, especially for women, but for a lot of people, they're not even diagnosed, so they, like, haven't even begun the process of figuring out what their needs really are, when it comes to their education or life in general. And lack of resources and negative perceptions. I know that depending on the school that you go to, they may not be able to, like, accommodate everything. I know that a lot of times schools look at things from a monetary perspective, and so, unfortunately, neurodivergent kids just cost more, and so it's harder to take care of them, and a lot of times they don't have good programs. Yeah. Also, sometimes they don't have access to assistive technology. I think we're getting better on that side of things, but it's still something that, especially during COVID, was like a huge deal that, kids didn't have the technology that they needed to be able to keep up with the rest of their classmates, just depending on their economic situation. And then negative perceptions. There are a lot of negative connotations around different neurodiverse conditions, and not only with peers and bullying and that sort of thing, but there can be a lot of misconceptions with teachers and other school staff that don't really understand what those conditions really mean for that child. So, yeah. Or adult, if you're in college. Yeah. Accommodations for education, providing assistive technology, flexible seating arrangements. I know that was... Yeah. Extended time on tests and assignments and tutoring. So, flexible seating arrangements, I know that there are multiple, I've been in multiple classrooms where you pick a seat and that's your seat for, the whole time. And for autistic people, that's great, because, you don't have to think about where I'm going to be sitting or who I'm going to be sitting next to. Some teachers are like, you have to sit in a new spot every time so you get to talk to somebody new, and that can be really hard for autistic people. But sitting in the same spot every time can be really hard for someone with ADHD who's like, I can't sit in the same place all the time because there's no, the novelty-seeking part of your brain isn't being, fed, I guess. So having flexibility in that, in whatever situation you're in, if you're in a class where the teacher wants you to switch spots every time, and you can say like, hey, I really need to sit in the same spot every time, in order to be able to pay attention in class, and so, being able to do that, or if it's, somebody's ADHD is like, I really don't like sitting in the same spot every time. If the class isn't full, can I move around to different seats that are empty? So just like that can be helpful. When it's a class that's like super interactive, that can be really hard for autistic people. When you're like kind of forced to talk to people every class, do a lot of group things. I think having some accommodations and being allowed to maybe not always participate in all of those. I'm not saying that you don't participate in some of them, but not having to do all of the group activities can be beneficial, just to like really allow the autistic person to regulate themselves in the setting that they're in, because school can be really dysregulating. But also having, structure and reminders for both ADHD and autistic people to kind of keep them on track is really helpful, because I know in college they've kind of just left up to your own devices, and I thankfully had a lot of like learned experience through being homeschooled, and my mom kind of like letting me make my schedule, and so I kind of had to figure some of that stuff out way before I got to college. But most people don't ever have that type of freedom or responsibility. So it's helpful to kind of, again, assess where each person is at. It's hard to do that in college settings, because you're going to be in different people's classes all the time. But, if you have a school counselor or somebody that can kind of help you assess things, and that way that person can kind of advocate for you in the whichever class you're in, if you need to, talk to a professor about certain accommodations. You have documentation of an evaluation or of a discussion that happened with a school counselor that kind of went over some of the things that you need. That can be really helpful. And it can help the professor know that, like, you're not just, like, not paying attention in class, or, like, you're not, disinterested. It's just, maybe you need to be allowed to have a stim toy or something, or you need to be able to sit in a different spot because it's the spot that you sat in first day isn't working for you and you need to move. And yeah. Leveraging students' strengths in the learning process. So that goes along with a few units ago, the strength-based approach to support, which was like 3 episodes ago, I think. But I think that, especially in school, because, even though it isn't in a lot of ways, it's supposed to kind of be this like skills learning time in your life where you figure out what your strengths are, where you want, like, what directions you can go in life, like what are things that you're good at, where do you want to focus your attention, and I think having the ability to really understand what your strengths are and utilize them in the school setting is really important for just success and overall well-being. I know that for me, I didn't know that processing speed was a weakness of mine. I had no clue. I try to do everything as fast as humanly possible. Like, I tried to rush through everything because I wanted it to be over. I didn't really enjoy school. I liked learning. I liked certain classes, but the ADHD part of me, I hated any class that I didn't want to be in, that I didn't really care about. So music classes. Loved the music classes. I liked a couple of other classes, but like for the most part, if it wasn't related to my major or if the professor was disinteresting, I was trying to get through that as fast as possible. And I just wanted to, I don't know, get on with my life. I just was like, school sucks. I hate sitting in a classroom. Didn't know about the ADHD part, and then just like sitting in general for a long time is hard. So if I had known that my strengths lie elsewhere, maybe I would have tried to do things differently, and I wouldn't have structured my life in a way that led to a pretty severe burnout when I was in college. So, yeah. Leveraging students' strengths is very important. But you have to know what they are. So, it all starts with taking the time to assess and really get a clear picture of the student. Encouraging self-confidence and positive self-image by recognizing abilities and talents. So, when I found music, that was really a positive thing for me because I was really pretty good at it. I also just really enjoyed it. I liked how music could make you feel things, emotions. I have a really hard time understanding my own emotions and articulating them, and music was a way that I could kind of do that, where I could convey the same feeling, and I could have that other person basically, essentially, feel what I'm feeling through the music, because music is very powerful in that way. And so it was just, that was a huge thing for me, not only to have something that I was talented in, but something that helped me communicate better. Yeah. Self-image wise, I definitely struggled. Like I know that I'm not like, I know that I'm like generally attractive. My face is like sort of symmetrical. I have big eyes, which are nice. My nose isn't like too huge. I don't know. I have a nice lip shape. I'm generally kind of thinner, on the thinner side. I was a lot skinnier at one point, not healthy. I had braces because I had messed up teeth, so I have straight teeth now. My skin is like not terrible. My back isn't great, but my face is fine, So like I understood that logically, but like in true autistic fashion. Didn't get the social side of it at all. Like, anytime someone would compliment me, I would feel weird and like, thank you. Like, I used to not say anything. Somebody would compliment me and I'd just be like, I don't know, I would just walk away. I don't know. Like, I just didn't know what to say. Like, I didn't know how to react. then, you know, over time, people told me you're supposed to say thank you. And I was like, okay. So then I started saying thank you with like a question. Like, thank you. And then finally now I feel like I'm better. I still laugh when people compliment me. I'm like, stop. You know, like I don't. But I think it, you know, Instagram came out when I was, you know, in middle school or something. So, like, just starting high school. So, like, people were constantly posting photos, and, you know, girls would go, oh my god, you're so gorgeous. And I'd post a photo, and, like, no one would say anything, and I'm like, it's also because I didn't hang out with a bunch of people. Yeah, I knew all of these people from youth group, but like, I didn't hang out with them. I didn't really like hanging out with them. I didn't understand why they enjoyed talking about any of the stuff they enjoyed talking about. I wasn't into makeup. I wasn't into pop culture. I wasn't into fashion really. Like, if I was into my own style of fashion, but nobody else was. And yeah, I had nothing in common with any of them. So, like, it made sense that, like, we just weren't friends. Why would they comment that kind of stuff on my... Also, I wasn't commenting that stuff on their posts. But I did get this kind of feeling of, like, I am the odd one out here. I am weird. I am not normal. I don't fit in. And so that definitely contributed to some of my self-image issues when I was younger. Yeah. Here we go again. Okay, I'm back. That was not... I started having a bit of a bloody nose, which is not great. But that's super common for me. I have medically diagnosed thin skin. So, at least in my nose, because we're trying to figure out why I got bloody noses all the time when I was a child. So, not very surprised. It's winter, it's dry, and I've been blowing my nose a little bit more often today, so that's just how it goes. Anyways, I gotta get going here. Providing social emotional support by fostering a safe and nurturing environment promotes emotional regulation and positive relationships. It can be really hard to know how to do that. I don't really blame the people in my life for not knowing how to help me socialize. You know, I had a couple of friends. You know, I think that was enough. I think it just, if I had known that, like, that was okay, it would have felt better. If I didn't always feel like, oh, why do I only have 2 or 3 friends ever? And, like, other people have, like, 12. Like, is there something wrong with me? So I think it would have helped having, quieting that inside voice if I just, knew that it was okay to have fewer friends. Like, people always said, you know, quality over quantity. But yet people still always had more friends than me, so I was like, they still were able to find more quality friends, right? I don't know. But I can't handle having more friends than that. I just can't, and that's okay. Now I know why. I just can't handle that level of social demand. So, but it is important to have supportive, positive relationships with people. it's not healthy to have no friends. I did go through a period of time where I didn't have anybody, and that was not good. So it is really important to have someone. Establish collaboration between educators, families, and support services by sharing info, resources, and strategies to create a cohesive support network. So that I wish we had a lot more of. Just communication between all of the different aspects of support for really anyone, but neurodivergent people in particular, people with disabilities, especially because a lot of us have co-occurring disabilities, and just being able to have everybody on the same page helps tremendously. I don't know if I've ever had everyone on the same page before, though. I feel like I'm just slowly starting to get there, and I'm 25. So, not to make anyone feel like they can't have it together while they're in school, I really hope that you can. And if you're listening to this podcast, then you're like already way ahead of me when I was your age, if you're still in school. So, yeah. I think just doing our best to try and communicate, it can be really hard. But if we communicate that we need this and we need people to be on the same page, we need people to talk to each other, unfortunately, it just takes a lot of work sometimes. So, yeah. Anyways, I gotta get going to work now. Hopefully I'm not sniffly all day, but I have a feeling I will be. Yeah. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Oh my god, here's a sneeze. Anyways, I'm gonna get going. And thank you for being here. And you are enough. Whew.